right, y'all. Welcome back and happy Friday. This is the Bluechip Breakdown, and we're your hosts, Bull and P. And this is the Bluechip Breakdown podcast. We have a lot of topics, P. Next Tuesday, or this upcoming Tuesday, the first CFP poll drops. So it is time for us to start taking a look at the playoff picture. Who do we need to be rooting for to win and lose coming up this weekend, first and foremost? Where's Tennessee at in that whole mix? Obviously, we want to get your thoughts on the Oklahoma game because people have heard me talk about it all week long. And there's some changes that I think both of us, we talked about it that Tennessee might need to make to help us moving forward. But with all that being said, y'all please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And P, I want to start off on the playoff picture at this point. So first and foremost, okay, this is how things I think might end up looking. So how I did this, P, it's not what the real top 12 is probably going to be coming out on Tuesday. But I just went straight past, like, if the playoffs started today and if they did the rankings, this is how things would look, just based off of you got to have your conference champions here and there. So let me actually make this bigger for everybody real quick. So everything that's in gold, like all those teams in gold, those are your 5 locks, right? So you got the Buckeyes coming out of the Big Ten, as the champions. You got Texas A&M coming out of the SEC as the champions. Georgia Tech is the ACC champions. BYU is the Big 12 champions. And then Memphis is your Group of 5 champions. So you just have to obviously fill in everything else. But Tennessee's not in this. What I found pretty interesting, P, is that there's 5 SEC teams at this point. It's not going to stay this way. But I'm thinking that probably 4 teams get in. But what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a pretty good, starting 12 here, man. I mean, I think you look at really the Big Ten, the ACC, and of course the Big 12. I mean, they really don't have a ton of teams like past their top 1 or 2. You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, for me, look at the SEC. You probably go about 8 or 9 deep of teams that you think are deserving. I mean, right now the SEC, it's a ton of 1-loss teams or maybe 2-loss teams. You look at Tennessee, Oklahoma, some of those 2-loss teams that are as good as any team in the country. I think that on their best day could potentially beat anybody in the country. So I mean, it's just total carnage right now in the SEC, and there's gonna be several teams that get snubbed. You look at Ole Miss last year, man. I mean, that's a team that was as hot as anybody towards the end of the year and got robbed. I think it was because something with Clemson, the SMU, something like that, and then it ended up getting Clemson in. But really, Clemson wasn't a deserving team. I mean, you could see a similar scenario happening here, or maybe, I don't know who. I mean, I guess it was Miami and Georgia Tech in the ACC. Miami probably gets in here, right? So that's going to bump somebody out. Tech's probably going to be in. That's going to bump somebody out. You know what I mean? I don't see the the Big Ten getting more than 2. I mean, maybe Oregon catches a little fire and they sneak in there. So it's going to be. I think this may be the most controversial year, just in terms of the carnage the SEC has. All the teams that are right there at the top. It's going to be a couple of teams right there that think they deserve to get in that don't get in, and probably for a lesser team. You know what I mean? So we'll see, man. Kami's got the work cut out for him this year, I think, for sure.
Yeah, so one of the things that's probably interesting to some people is I have Notre Dame in here over Miami, even though they lost to them. But this is my thing. You don't ever want to be in a situation where it's your team versus Notre Dame, because Notre Dame's going to get in. I think that they might have to lose 3, maybe even 4 games to not get in. That's just how this works. They're going to find a way to get them in. So Tennessee, again, as I said, we need to be top 4 in the SEC, because I do think the 4 SEC teams will get in. The 5th one, it's probably going to be them versus Notre Dame, maybe, and that's just a losing situation. So let's take a look at the SECP. This is the current standings. This is the top 8 teams. Y'all see Tennessee sitting at number 7. I'm really just focused on the teams that's 1 through 6. All right, because that's who we, sorry, have to watching. Who do we want to lose? Like who needs to lose for us? So I mean, for me, P, out the gate, I want Georgia losing whoever they play every single week. But with the way that the SEC stuff breaks down, is your strength of record does matter. So the record of the teams that you've beaten or lost to, or that you've played, period, that is a factor, like down the home stretch. But how can we get up to the top 4? Well, we got Vandy. Okay, so we're gonna get, we get to play them. That one, I'm just saying, what if Tennessee just wins out, right? End up beating Vandy, so cross them off. What if Vanderbilt beats Texas? You can cross them off. But coming up this week, Ole Miss, you definitely need for them to lose. And I would still say, shoot, Georgia or Alabama. Just to me, it's just kind of like everybody needs to lose. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yep. And that's the way. I mean, you hate to be in a situation, but heck, that's why I've been looking at it. I hope everybody freaking loses. I mean, Georgia for sure. I mean, they got a couple losable games. You look at the one this week, Florida. Hey, just fired Napier, brand new deal for those guys. I think they'll come out playing inspired football. Watch out for that one. And then they still got Texas. They got Mississippi State. Hey, I could see them going over 3 there, but they could also go 3-0 there. So we need some help there. And then Bama, I'm not sure who they got left. I think they still got LSU and Auburn maybe. Which I mean, that's two losable games. I mean, there's not a game in conference that's not losable, really. I mean, there's really not. I mean, maybe Kentucky, maybe, but I mean, even them. So it's going to be interesting down the stretch, man. I'm not so Ole Miss has South Carolina. I've been picking South Carolina for the past 4 or 5 weeks to upset somebody. Is this the week they finally do it? They got really close last week, so man, I don't know, man. It's gonna be a daggum barn burner down the stretch. You hate to be in this position, but we need everybody to freaking lose, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. So Alabama has OU next week.
Hmm.
I think it's next week. It's their next game. It might be like in a couple weeks, but I can see them losing
Okay.
that one. And I think that LSU might win out because Brian Kelly can't coach. They have the talent. I've already heard some things that the players are happy that he's gone. They might start playing harder. I could see them winning out. Florida. So this here, y'all. Let me actually make this bigger for you. Okay. So this right here, these are the 3 games this weekend that we have to watch very, very closely. And to the right of each game is who we need to win. So we need for Vanderbilt for sure to win at noon at 3:30. We always need Georgia losing, but it means more this week. So if Florida has gotten it figured out now that Napier's gone, it's not the best thing for us, but it's the best thing this week. It would be good if they could win every other game outside of us. And then P, like you said, South Carolina versus Ole Miss. I could see South Carolina, winning that, but that's in Oxford. So who knows? If they can get it going, it's the perfect time for it. And Tennessee could skyrocket up those rankings very, very quickly.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's gonna be crazy down the stretch, man. I mean, I don't know how I feel about it. Obviously, still having to play Florida. You hate to see them get hot, but man, if they can just freaking catch fire for 1 week. Okay, catch it this week, and then go back to being nice cold. We would love to see that. And then, hey, man, that Vanderbilt game down the stretch. Got a feeling that's a daggum playing game right there. It kind of was. It was a playing game for us last year. We had to win to get in. I think this year may be a deal where, hey, whoever wins gets in. So watch out for that one down the stretch.
Yeah, for sure. So for all this to matter, like we talked about starting off, Tennessee's got to win this weekend. We got to win every single game. So P, I would like to get your thoughts on the Oklahoma game. And first things first, I want to take a quick look at these injuries, and I'm gonna make this big as well, just so that people see, what all's going on here. This came out last night. So Arion Carter, it sounds like he's going to try to go for Oklahoma. They got several players banged up. That cornerback, number 9, that's probable there. He's a guy that I wasn't sure, P, if he was just based off his snaps, if he was one of their starters. I think that he was one of their starters, and maybe he's been out for like several weeks. I don't know. I don't really like whenever I'm watching film now, I look at the secondary, I look at their sizes, I watch them move around. I don't have to pay too much attention to it because it doesn't really matter. Like we got dudes on the outside. I think that our system, it doesn't, that part of it doesn't really matter. But, he's going to be back. 2 true freshmen playing at offensive tackle. I think that that's going to be a problem for him. But wanted to show y'all that real quick. And P, I do want to get your thoughts on OU. And down at the bottom, y'all can see what Vegas thinks, right? It's the number 14 team versus the number 18 team. Vegas is basically saying Tennessee is going to win this one 29 to about 26 or 27 points. But obviously, P, you don't have to tell us what the score is. We're going to be doing that on Saturday. But what's your thoughts, P?
And Oklahoma's a good team. I mean, we know that. That's a very talented team, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Up front, they got a ton of monsters, especially on the interior. I mean, for me, when I watch them, I'm not blown away by the pass rush. I know it's pretty solid. They've had a couple of games, like the Auburn game, for example. I think that elevates that sack number, but really good run stopping defense. I mean, look at those D tackles. I mean, they got a whole litany of them, similar to how we were last year. You look at 0, 65, 56, 52, I think is one of them. And they got a bunch of guys in there. They're all like 315 plus, can move, quick twitch guys, explosive, strong. So probably going to be tough sledding on the interior of that D line, trying to run the ball on those guys. I like the way the linebackers move. They all seem very athletic too. I mean, they can move. strong at the point of contact, taking on blocks. So I think they have a really good run stopping defense, really good personnel, and then Venables he's gonna freaking dial some things up. And I mean, you've been breaking down all week those coverages that he's doing. I mean, I'm looking at like, what the heck is this? I mean, I just kept assuming like maybe this is coverage 6 or something. I don't know what the heck he was doing on some of those coverages. But to your point, I think there are some holes when you look at how they're playing some of that stuff. But then I think offensively, a team that struggled here recently, you watch the film, uh, obviously a lot of good personnel, quarterback, running backs, receivers, really good personnel out there. And I think some of the scheme things they do with a lot of the RPO action, the quarterback being the threat of his legs, can be something that gives us a problem, right? Like knowing that we have to account for the quarterback if he even acts like he's running the ball, that might make us a tick slower. That could open up some run lanes for us. Something that always concerns me is those mobile quarterbacks. And then just, our inability to tackle this year. They'll freaking get it out. Mateer, he's got that Baker Mayfield to him. He'll freaking sling it out there real quick, get it out to the flats, and hey, can we tackle the guy in space? Or is that going to be a freaking 1 yard gain that turns into a 20-yard, 30-yard play? So those are really the keys to it to me. I think their O-line, again, like last year, is going to be a big area of weakness for them that we hopefully can exploit. But our D-line has got to step up. We've been really lackluster the past couple of weeks. And we find our pass rush today or, tomorrow. I think that's going to really tell the tape for us on defense.
Yeah, man, look, I think that those are all excellent points. Just talking about the offensive line, the more that I've been watching, the more that I've been thinking about it, and even like listening to some of the Oklahoma podcasts. I don't know. There's one that I've watched a lot of them, but there's one that I really like, and I talked about it last year. I think it's called the Oklahoma Breakdown. They have one where they're breaking down film on Tennessee's offense and defense and talking about some of the things that they see. If y'all like people who really break down football, who know what they're talking about, that one is really, really good. But yeah, I think that their offensive line, I don't know that they realize that they haven't seen a pass rush like ours. They haven't seen defensive ends like ours all year long. Like they just haven't. And then having like those more veteran guys, number 66, who was rotating in at right tackle, him being out, I think that's a problem. 71, he was, the other veteran guy rotating in. I don't know if that's going to be much of a problem. But my whole point is that if they don't do a bunch of quick game stuff, if they try to throw the football down the field, I think that we could, and this is going to sound maybe a little bit crazy, but for those of y'all that have watched this channel, y'all know how serious this is. I can see us having about 6 to 8 sacks. Like, I think that we are going to wreak havoc on those offensive tackles. They have no idea that it is a terrible matchup for them, and it's great for us. So also too, just like with the tackling out in space, it sounds like, Pete, that's something that we've been working on. We've emphasized it over the course of this week in practice. I mean, they're saying that, but that's something that you do all the time. Will the players step up? Will they do it? Do they feel disrespected, P? Because everybody's saying how much they suck. Everybody's saying it. So I mean, I'm hoping that they feel disrespected. I'm hoping that they play like it. And if we just tackle well, I think Tennessee's going to win this one pretty big. Like that's how confident I am now, P.
Yeah, man. I mean, they better feel disrespected. I mean, everybody's talking trash about these guys, and hey, rightfully so. I mean, you're putting it on film. What do they say? Don't put it on film. Well, we're putting it on film over and over and over again that we can't tackle a soul. So come out here, shut everybody up, prove us wrong, and go out here and freaking tackle guys. I mean, you're pulling up numbers all week about how many yards we've given up after the catch, or how many yards after contact. I mean, it's almost a whole nother season's worth of yards that we're giving up. Like if we just cut down on that, just cut that in half, we're a much better defense. I think you bring up an interesting point about our pass rush being really effective. I think something we've seen pretty much all year, maybe except for the Alabama game. In my opinion, most teams when they play us, they tend to try to get the ball out quick, or they'll move the pocket. They'll do things to nullify that pass rush. What does Oklahoma and that offensive staff? What do they have dialed up? Maybe get the ball out of their hands quick, because like we talked about, if I'm Oklahoma and I don't think we can block these guys, I'm getting out quick. I mean, heck, I don't care if they got 3 guys over our 2 guys. They haven't shown they can tackle. So I would make us prove it early, and I think that's what's going to come down to. Is the pass rush there when they do a true drop back? And then if they get it out of their hands quick, can we come down and tackle and make plays in the short game? So, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and something that we will touch on here some more in just a second is their slot wide receivers. Slot fades.
Got some
Just
speed.
how they like to throw the football and all that. How and maybe we can say this, but I was just about to ask you, how concerned are you with maybe Tennessee's passing defense? Where do you see the weaknesses at, and what do you think that Tennessee can do to give ourselves a much better chance coming up on Saturday?
I mean, heck, there's not much you can do, man. I think we kind of are who we are. I think if you feel good about the corners for the most part, like you touched on, it's that star. It's that slot fade's a tough one. We saw it against Bama. Ryan Williams, I think the first pass of the game, Ty Sims completed. Was it on Buchart? No, but maybe it was on Colton Hood. I can't remember who it was on, but I mean he's in perfect position. But the ball is just perfectly thrown, and the receiver makes a great catch. We saw that on film with Mateer doing it against, I think, Ole Miss. Maybe we saw him doing it. I mean, it's really not much you can do unless you're going to have a coverage that will help you out, put a safety over top. Maybe that helps you, right? But I mean, if they're going to throw it and catch it like that, you're pretty much at their mercy. So, I mean, the way I look at it, heck, you freaking line up and you make them show they can do that consistently over and over again. But yeah, that's going to be a huge matchup because once the pass rush is getting there, heck, you can 3-step drop and hit that slot fade and it's going to be there, right? So, we'll see. I think the guys are up for the challenge. I think they'll step up. Like you said, we've been disrespected all week, really all season on the defensive side of the ball. So hopefully we pick it up and come and play Inspired Football. Dark mode, kneeling, expect to see some energy out there. So I think we'll be fine.
1000%. So what we're looking at now, and I'm gonna make it bigger here in just a second, but this is Oklahoma's quarterback. This is their starting quarterback. This is his passing map over the season. We've shown this previously. Some people might have missed it, but what I noticed is the middle of the field, they target a lot. I don't think that it's just him. I think that that's just their system. But as we touched on with those slot fades, it starts off in the slot area, right? But then it fades out to that deep outside area. Like that's what most of that is. So it's a big game for our stars, maybe for our linebackers too, P. Doesn't seem like they're targeting safeties too much. So I think that this is a game that maybe we say, hey, stars, y'all need to have strong inside leverage, take away all the inside stuff, take away all of the middle stuff, or hey, safeties, y'all are playing middle, and then the stars, they can play more straight up, right? But we have to have some sort of a game plan just to kind of slow this down. And as we're talking about their players, P, I want to show y'all. Oh, and you know what? Excuse me. Let me actually go back and show this to y'all bigger because I said that I was going to do that. But I also want to talk, P, about their backup quarterback because as I've been listening to the Oklahoma podcast and all of that, and yeah, I noticed this last season too, that they will be quick to ask for some big changes. So that could be, hey, backup quarterbacks got to come in, and I could see that happening. And I think that he might be better than their starter, honestly speaking, just from what I've seen. So this is their starter, and this is their backup. Still very similar. He's just a little bit more hot to the outside and to the deep outside, and not as hot to the middle. And this is everything that he's done over the course of the year. But I did want to bring that up just because that could be a little bit of a different thing, right? Like we're thinking about how they look with the guy that's been playing for the past couple of weeks, but you bring in a different quarterback, it's a totally different ball game. I think that they're starting now. He's got like a sprained knee coming off with a hand surgery. He's just not. He doesn't look the same. But with the other guy, we saw him come in last season, and he can definitely move. I mean, he brought him some juice, so that kind of worries me, P. And then also, I think that their starting running back has been number 6. But number 24 looked really good last week. And for the members, we went through and we, broke it down and like what running back has done what on each week. I think that number 6, he's okay, but 24, that's the guy. He's like 240. So, there can be some changes, P.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I think you look at this Hawkins kid came in. We saw him last year. He played against us, and definitely a very explosive athlete, dynamic guy. Anytime a guy can run from the quarterback position, it's a ton of stress on your defense. And he's got a big arm. Like he can push it down the field and can make some throws down the field. I think something you have to think about too is this guy, he was on the roster last year, and I think they went away from Jackson Arnold, went to him, and then I think that he did maybe so poorly that they went back to Jackson Arnold. I think he's a guy, he has some ability and shown some flashes. I really haven't seen a ton of him from this season. I saw a couple of snaps from him this season, so I'm not sure how much he's gotten better. But the fact they go out, they get John Mateer, they bring in a guy to start over him. I don't know how much the staff trust him to be the guy. And then, heck, they freaking rush Mateer back. like a week, like what, 7 days after surgery, whatever. It wasn't even like, it was like 2 weeks maybe after surgery. They rushed him back. I don't know if they feel a lot of confidence in him. So if he does come in, I think we'll see maybe a little bit different game plan of how they try to call the game and just maybe help him out, just from that standpoint. But as far as those running backs, I think both of them are very talented. I think number 6 has some pop and some twitch to him. A guy that can give you some trouble in space. Not the most physical runner. That was a really bad safety he took against Ole Miss last week. I mean, how do you take a safety? I mean, you can't get out of the end zone, dude. That's is that kid a freshman? Do you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, freshman, hey, freshman mistake. He's going to be really good in the future, but I don't know if he's the guy right now. 24, man, big, like I said, 240. We've struggled with the bigger backs this year. We've struggled to tackle, so he's a guy you just look at his frame and say, well, this is a guy that's going to take at least, 2 guys probably to bring him down. Well, you're playing against a defense that hasn't tackled well. I think that would be the game plan I would use. I'm Oklahoma. Hey, we're going to give this guy the ball. And even if, we don't have the numbers, we look at this guy as a guy that's going, it's going to take 2 to get him down at least. So, you kind of add numbers that way, manufacture numbers in the running game that way. It could be a problem, especially when you factor in the zone reads with Mateer. I know you said he's hurt, but I think our guys were still going to be looking for it and playing it and still kind of having to respect his ability with his legs. So I think some run lanes could open up. But we'll see, man. If we play our brand of ball, we're better than them up front. And their backs are decent, but I think we're better at our second level than they are at running back as well. So, again, same story from all season. If we play our brand of ball, we'll be fine. The question is, we don't know what we're going to get, from that defense.
Yeah, and then too, just to kind of like switch gears and get off of our defense with Tennessee's offense. What do you think about this OU defense? Like, I know that you talked about it, but like, where would you rank them versus the other defenses that we've played so far this season?
They're really good, man. Their front seven probably as good as we've seen all year. Bama had a good front seven just on paper, but I think this group's D-line is better, especially on the interior. I don't think they have a guy quite like that Pierre kid, number 42 for Alabama. But, they just got a plethora of big physical bodies on the interior. Love their linebackers, really good group there. And then, safety, that number 3 is physical. He's like 220, something like that. And he comes down, he's physical, can tackle. But their corners, man, their corners is where I would say that's a little bit of an area of weakness for me. So, if I had to rank them, I would say probably Bama's defense to me would be the second, would probably be the number 1 defense we faced, just in terms of just very well-rounded. They're good at corner, they're good at safety, they're good at back, or they're good on D-line. This group, I think, is better everywhere else except for corner. Like, I think you look at their corners, I would say their corners maybe like a B- type deal. For Bama's corners, you put them maybe like in that A- type area. But I think they're pretty similar everywhere else. I would give the nod to Oklahoma everywhere else except corner. This is a really good group. We're going to work on. This is, like you said, this is the best group we probably faced all year. But I think their corners are weak, which it may not. You look at it, we're not going to do score prediction, but look at the score. We may put up a lot of points just because they have that area of weakness, and we can easily attack and put up points. But I think it's going to be tough sledding in the run game, tough sledding across the middle. I think everything will be tough. I think we can expose those corners.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very interesting point. I do think that they have weaknesses with their secondary. I don't think that it's great, but I just think that the way that they bring the pressure, like they bring so many blitzes, they blitz more than anybody else in this conference. And that concerns me because it's going to force your hand. It's going to force you to, like, you can't operate down the field. It's one thing because Alabama, they blitz at a pretty high rate versus us, but it's nothing like what we're going to see tomorrow. Like these guys are bringing it from everywhere. So if there's anything that kind of concerns me is being able to pick that up. But you live and die by the blitz, right? So Tennessee should be able to find some openings. They also run a whole bunch of stunts. So it's a lot of movement. Things happen really, really quickly. Something that I've talked about over the course of the week, P, is Ole Miss last week. They would wait and wait and wait and then get into their look really, really late and then run the play. So tempo, I just don't think that it's going to be beneficial for us to run as much tempo in a game where you need to identify where's the pressure coming from, what's the coverage. Like we both talked about it watching film on them. Sometimes we don't even know what the coverage is. And like we're watching from the freaking sky. It's like we don't know what. So I think that they like manufacture some stuff. And that can be tricky, especially because Joey Aguilar, he's had a tendency to pre-snap. He knows where he's going. I don't think that he's scanned the field very well here, especially like recently. So that concerns me. But I'm just hoping that Coach Heupel has a great game plan dialed up, but I just think it'll be probably our toughest challenge from that standpoint. Like you said, strongest front seven, maybe not the best secondary, just like on paper wise, but I think that whenever you put it all together, I think that it's probably going to be our toughest challenge. So that's
Yeah,
kind of where I'm at with it.
I
But I
agree.
did also want to just come right back to this real quick because I want to talk about some changes, right? Because everyone wants to see some changes from the defense. But let me just show this to y'all one more time, right? So this is their starting quarterbacks passing map. This is their backup quarterbacks, and this is what Ole Miss did to their starter when they played. So they just took away what they liked. And this is something that we've shown previously too. But I want for folks to see it's all of the middle stuff. Is Tennessee capable of taking away all of that middle stuff? That is my question. So P, I want to jump back and talk about some things that maybe Tennessee could do to offset having some problems with our star because like 24% of the passing yards that we've given up so far this season have come from our stars, just those two starters. Okay. And look, I love those guys, but I don't think that we have a star right now. Like I really don't. I think that we might be better suited to go to maybe like a 4-3. But what are your thoughts on that? And 4-3 just means that you bring another linebacker on the field and you take that star off. And the whole reason that I'm saying it, right, just so that people understand, is that we're not very deep at cornerback right now, not very deep at safety. We don't really have a star. So put a linebacker out there who can maybe move around and cover, I think, just as well. Going to be better versed to run, better as a tackler. And then you have more depth on the outside because you have more guys that are waiting to get out on the field, and we can spell people in and keep them fresh. But Pete, what are your thoughts there?
I mean, that's interesting. Going to a 4-3. Obviously, you're looking at a guy like Perlotti as almost being that makeshift star player, but it's more bigger, bigger, more physical presence, can help you in the run game, but also has the ability to cover. But I don't know. He can cover as well as, a J Mac or a Boo. I mean, I just don't think he's quite that fast. But it might not be a huge drop off. It might not be as big as some people would initially assume, because he is a very good athlete. I mean, I think the simple fix would be to, hey, let's play a little more too high. Stop putting these stars on islands and thinking they can cover somebody down the field. Now, obviously, that may make you more vulnerable in the run game, but that's probably where I would start off. I'd say, hey, can we go, show a little more too high stuff, maybe a little more cover two, whatever, and see if we can still stop the run with a little bit lighter box. That's where I would start. And then from there, if you can't get that done, then heck, maybe you start looking at, can we move guys around? I don't know if you feel more comfortable with one of those corners bumping inside. I mean, we don't really have any bodies. That's the thing. We have no other bodies. We have what we have. We have those top like six guys, whatever. Outside of that, I mean, we don't have anybody else that could potentially play star for you. So, I mean, yeah, that's probably, I'll start with a too high look. And then from there, I mean, if that doesn't work, yeah, like you said, maybe a 4-3 would be a good change of pace for you.
Yeah, so let me show you. This is what my 4-3 would look like. So we've got. Yeah, I have all the players' numbers up there, but looking at the second level where those backers are, you got number 13, Edwin Spillman, playing basically at like Sam. Then you've got playing at Mike, Jeremiah Lander. Now this is just until AC comes back, and then playing at Will, I have Jaden Perlotti, who I mean, look, Oklahoma, they have one of the best defenses in the country. They run more 4-3 than anybody else. Part of the reason is that they have a guy, number 5, who he's actually bigger than Jaden. I don't know if he's pretty close to the same type of athlete moving around. He's like 6'5", 243. But, they move him back sometimes, and he can play at safety. But that's what Jaden played at Buford. He basically played star. I've seen him doing it some actually on the turnover that he had versus Arkansas when he went and scooped that fumble up. I want to say that he was basically playing it like safety slash star. Okay. I think that he can play out in space well. I think that he's a guy that obviously bigger than our star is going to be a lot better versus the run. So you shut that down. You always want to shut that down first. You can slow it down. But then I think that with the underneath stuff, with something like the slant, because that's what really bothers me. Slot fade, giving that up, okay, that's not that big of a deal. Just don't get killed, don't get beat by 6 or 7 yards. And I think we're fine there. Just make it a tougher pass. But it's the slants, it's the like little stuff that we keep on giving up that to me is just inexcusable. I think that even if Jaden's not playing man, in a zone there, he's got the speed to help us out. He can help as like an alley player. And then you can still go cover two. Actually, I actually like running 4-3 with the cover two, right? Cover two, cover three. I mean, you think about the Seahawks. They ran a 4-3, cover three, and it was dominant. So it's just about the personnel. I'm not saying that it's going to be perfect, but I do think that it would be better. Like we take a huge step forward at making tackles and stopping a run. And if you take a step back in the passing game, is it a huge step back, right? But this is how I drew it up, Pete. But what's your thoughts on this? Would you mix and match anything?
I think you got a good group out there. I think, man, you look at Pilati, he does a really good job in zone coverage, finding work, not just covering grass. He actually uses his eyes, finds people to get to. I mean, I think he's a perfect fit there. The only thing I may change is, I mean, may sound crazy. Maybe you bump 13 inside, and you bring 11 on. You put 11 out there at will. Now he's a guy we haven't seen him tackle very well this season.
Yeah.
But I mean, you talk about a guy potentially could potentially play star for you. I mean, he might be able to. He's a very athletic guy. I wish we would see more of him. I don't know what the deal is with him. Would love to get into that room and say, hey, coach, why isn't 11 getting more playing now? You know what I mean? Because he looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
Just on a couple of glimpses we see, he moves different than anybody in the whole roster pretty much. And you guys aren't playing him. I mean, I don't know what it is. But hey, he's a guy. Find something he can do. What, like, you know what I mean? Like what can he do where he doesn't have to worry about making mistakes? Just go out there and play, and let him play, because I think he can make an impact if you put him in position to succeed. You know what I'm saying? So I might rather see 11 out there, and then you have 11, 13, and 27. Those are your guys, and now you say, hey, let's go play football.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that would be great. The only thing that I think about with Jordan Burns is that he just hasn't been very good versus the run. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that out of all of our backers, I think he's gotten like a little bit better at being able to fit things up and not getting pushed around so much. But that's what it feels like to me. I could be totally wrong. It feels like he needs to get the physical part versus the run down. And if he did that, if once he's there, maybe he can play. But yeah, I mean, obviously, even if he's a backup for either one of those guys on the outside, you love that. And then think about once AC comes back, I'd put AC at daggum Mike. I mean, think about how athletic we are now moving around. And, we put out the clips for everybody that's members showing you how this defense has looked for, like, we showed you all of last week, every snap that we had in 3-4 or 4-3. The difference is going to be when Tennessee goes to what I call 3-4, you've got two Leos out there instead of here where you have really, I mean, it's still 3-4, but you have like one Leo out there that's really like a defensive end. And then you got these three types of backers out there that are really stand-up, move-around backers. So we can be versatile from that standpoint, but I just think that 4-3 matches our personnel from front to back end a lot better than 3-4 does, because you're just like way more versatile. There's way more speed out there. But yeah, I would love to see us get into this more, because it feels like every time that we've run it, it's looked good. Now, granted, we've mostly only run it versus like 12 personnel, so versus like two tight ends out there. But teams have spread us out. We looked good moving around. I just think that this would be a significant answer for us because, like I said, Colton Hood's got that pulled calf. So he's going to need some breaks. Tyler Redmond, he's a freshman. He's going to need breaks too. And then you can also rotate in more guys playing at safety. Why don't you let, Boo play some safety some? Let J-Mac play some safety some. And then we're not just, oh my gosh, we're spread thin everywhere. You know what I'm saying? This is just what I would do. I don't think that the staff would ever move to this more full-time. But even in this game, I like this lineup better than us having our stars out there. And it's not that our stars are bad players. It's just that I think J-Mac is more of an outside corner or safety than he is a star. Star's hard to play. And then Boo, I don't know. He's like hit or miss. He's forced like 2 fumbles. He does some good things. But then he goes out there and he'll just give up easy stuff and he looks like a daisical. So I would much rather have some people that's full-time, not sometimes.
Yeah, 100%. I'm all for changing it up. I think that's the main thing is you want to see us try to change some things up. Don't keep doing the same thing. That's something we've talked about. As you look at this defense on film, we keep telling people, hey, listen, everything that we're seeing, it's all correctable stuff. But then I think you and I had the conversation. We said, hey, listen, is it the staff isn't coaching these guys up, that they can't do the simple things, or is it that the guys that are in here just can't execute the simple things like tackling, covering, things like that? And if it's the latter, if these guys just can't do these simple fundamental tasks, then it's time to start saying, hey, who else do we got? And so this is a great way to switch up your personnel, and potentially maybe get your best 11 on the field. And I think it could be very successful. We'll see if Coach Banks decides to go to something like that, because I think it could definitely work.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess that pretty much wraps it up, man. We pretty much covered everything. Obviously, we got some more stuff that we'll be covering coming up tomorrow, and we'll be doing the live stream for the tailgate show a little bit later, probably closer to kickoff. So hopefully y'all can join us for that, because we do still have some more things that we can bring to y'all. But please leave your thoughts down in the comment section, and as always, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and we will be talking to y'all tomorrow. Thanks. Peace. Thanks for watching, and please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, because that keeps us growing inside of the YouTube algorithm. And if you did like this video, here's another one that you might also enjoy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.